What's up, guys? Spinning Mac Attack here. Just started the stream, and I am studying for Airframe. I'm study maxing, actually. Same diff. But I just figured since I'm studying, I might as well stream as well. Kill two birds with one stone. If there's anybody out there who is also needing to study for Airframe, you can join in or just watch me suffer. I'm trying to check my phone to see if the stream is doing what it should. Let's see. It is. Let's go. I have the chat pulled up too, so if there's any chatters, I will read them. Okay, so let's do this. I've already been studying for like 30 minutes. I'll probably just go until I can pass this section with an 85 or above. 85 grade or above. That's what I'm going to go for with this section. It's communications. What is it? What's the section called? It's like environmental. Oh wait, I can see it right back here. Hold up. Communications, light signals, and runway lighting. Holding yourself accountable to the world. I like it. Oh, well, thank you, Tony Carlisle 3. Yeah, no, I don't know if I would call it holding myself accountable. It's like I want to make YouTube stuff, and I also know I need to study, so it's like getting to do what I want while doing something that I don't want to do. So, yeah. I'm looking at my phone. I don't know why I am. The camera's right there. Okay, I'm going to study. Where's the strongest signal for this antenna? Oh, I'm a little sick too. I just got a stopped up nose, so pardon that. Where's the strongest signal for this antenna? I don't know. Win-win, yes. I don't know what kind of antenna that is. Probably a GPS. Where's the strongest signal for this antenna? And the answer is below the antenna or above the antenna or ahead of it. This is the antenna. In relation to what? I don't know. Let's say above. That makes sense. The higher the antenna is, the more signal it gets, I guess. In an autopilot, which signal nullifies the input signal to the ailerons? In an autopilot, which signal nullifies the input signal to the ailerons? The displacement signal? Probably. Nope. The follow-up signal in an autopilot nulls out the input signals to the control surfaces when the correct amount of deflection is reached. So the follow-up signal. Okay, the follow-up signal nullifies. Okay. Aircraft antenna must be grounded to the airframe. One antenna can be used for the radio range and standard broadcast bands in light aircraft because I don't even understand the sentence. One antenna can be used for the radio range and standard broadcast bands in light aircraft because I'm going to say it's omnidirectional. Nope. One antenna can be used on light aircraft to receive both the low frequency radio range and the standard broadcast bands. The frequency range of these two types of radio transmissions are so close together that one antenna can effectively receive both signals. Okay, so two ranges are closer together. One antenna as opposed to two or more. Okay, thank you. I'm just a dummy. I couldn't understand it. So, yeah, that is it. But I got it wrong, so I'm going to keep it wrong. I'm probably not going to make an 85 or above on this go around. I don't really expect to, so I might just have to take it again. But it's okay, because usually the second time around is a lot quicker, because I just have the answers kind of memorized after the first one, most of them at least, which is kind of the goal. Also to understand, but mainly to memorize right now. What is the operating principle of the sensing device used in an autopilot system? What is the operating principle? How many times can you take it from the beginning? As many times as I want. This isn't a practice test, it's just a study session. So I can create a study session out of, these are all the questions that are in the test bank that they use for the written test bank, but they only pull 60 out. And so I can just make any combination of sections into a study session that I want, but I'm just going one at a time for communications, light signals, and runway lighting right now. What is the operating principle for the sensing device? I think it's the rate of chains of motion between the gyro, gimbal rings, and the aircraft. Between the gyro and the support system. Action of the force 90 degrees. I think that's it. No, that's not it. The gyro in a flight instrument remains rigid in space. Of course, I should have known that. And the aircraft rotates about it. The gyro is used as the reference device in an autopilot which senses the relative motion between the gyro and its supporting system. That's the whole point of a gyro. It stays still. A DME antenna should be installed on the aircraft in a position that will probably not be blanked out by the wing. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go back to 28 though, because I want to make sure I know what answer is correct for next time. What is the operating principle of sensing device autopilot? Yeah, the relative motion between the gyro and its supporting system. Okay. What is the primary purpose of an autopilot? To relieve the pilot of control of the aircraft during long periods of flight, to allow for longer flights and more precise courses flown by the pilot. I don't think so. To stabilize the flight controls in turbulent conditions. I think it's A. Yeah. Okay. Like, it made sense, but I don't know. Sometimes things seem like they make sense and they don't. When would a U.S. resident not be required to hold a federal communications restricted radio telephone operator permit to operate the two-way aircraft VHF, blah, 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 when flying or communicating within the United States? It is probably right. When the radio equipment is operating and certified for VFR flight only. No, B is correct. The purpose of a glide scope system is to glide slope. Did I say scope? I don't know. Provide for automatic altitude reporting. No. Indicate the distance the airplane is from the end of the runway. Meh. No. C is correct. Assist the pilot in making correct angle descent to the runway. Refer to figure 22. What kind of antenna is this? That is like a... that's a... glide slope antenna. No, it's not. It's a loop and sense antenna. Yes, of course. Let me look at the explanation. The low-profile single antenna is a loop and sense antenna, which is used for ADF navigation. ADF. I don't know. I don't know what that means. The elevator, I guess I should probably look it up. Okay. Y'all can't see this, but what is ADF navigation? ADF navigation. Automatic direction finder. Automatic direction finding. It's an electronic aid to navigation that identifies the relative bearing of an aircraft from a radio beacon. All right. Cool. My phone turned off. Hold on. I'll just keep it plugged in. For the figure 22, what kind of antenna is this? We just did that. Loop and sense. The elevator channel of an autopilot, so the beacon can tell what direction you're going. I guess so. Automatic direction. What was even the thing? What was it called? Finding. Yeah, I think so. In relative position to the ground radio something. What's up, Sky? What up, twin? It's crazy. I didn't expect you to want to study airframe with me. The elevator channel of an autopilot controls the aircraft about which axis of rotation. The elevator, that would be, this is like an easy one, but it's like the opposite of what you think it would be. So the elevator controls like that of the plane. So that would really be longitudinal, because longitudinal runs parallel with the center line of the plane. It is the center line. Like I said, it's the opposite. It's the opposite of what I thought. And of course, I'm cool. I must be reading that wrong. Oh man, I was gonna pin your comment, but on my phone, I'm not logged into the account that's streaming. Dude, James is watching me too. No way. Why did you text me though? Why didn't you just type it in chat? Anyway, the equator? No, it's the opposite. The equator is the axis. James, just type it in chat. What's the opposite of longitudinal? Lateral. It's lateral, of course. Let me see the explanation. The elevator channel of an autopilot controls the aircraft about its. It just is that the? Am I the only one that makes sense to? That the elevator controls longitudinal, because the elevator does this to the plane, and this is the longitudinal. Oh wait, no, that makes sense. That makes sense, I guess. Okay, because lateral would be this way, and it's like that's the fulcrum. Okay, it does make sense. Hold up, guys. Give me a second. You think you saw a light bulb? Yeah, you pretty much did. That just made sense to me. And it happens every time I think about it. I work it through my head, and I just come back to it again. Okay, my housemate just got back, so I can't be as rambunctious. Can we be a live guest with you? What do you mean? Like you want to join me on FaceTime or something? Or like an Instagram FaceTime or something? Is that what you mean? I'm trying to study. Laterals here, I answer. In which control element of an autopilot system is an attitude indicator? Attitude indicator? Well, that would be sensing, right? Because it senses what your attitude is. I think I can sense what Sky's attitude is right now. Probably at any time of the day I could sense it without even seeing her. How may the operation of an installed emergency locator transmission be verified during aircraft inspection? By moving the no. By moving the deactivating switch from the disarm position to the arm position while monitoring the civil emergency frequency within communication. Yes. No. What? By activating the 5... Let me just read the explanation. Operation of the ELT is verified by tuning a communications receiver to the 406 megahertz and activating the transmitter for no more than 3 audible sweeps. The test must be conducted within the first 5 minutes of any hour, which is what I thought was true, and it is true. But I guess the rest of it wasn't. If the ELT must be operated... I'm going through these questions so slow. I was going way faster before I started the stream. Okay. I'm not going to shun you. I was kidding. It's all fun and games. Contact. So, by tuning to the civil... By tuning a communications receiver to the civil emergency frequency. Okay, yeah, that's right. C is correct. I gotta remember that. Okay, a radar altimeter determines altitude by transmitting a signal and receiving back a reflected signal. Receiving signals transmitted. No. A. A radar altimeter indicates altitude above ground level. Yes. Part of the ADF system used on aircraft includes... Here we are with ADF again. Sense and loop antenna. Refer to figure 15. What is the approximate drag load on an antenna with a frontal area of 0.125 square feet installed on an aircraft with a speed of 225? Okay, so this is easy. You just gotta follow this. Thing. You just gotta follow this equation, this formula, or whatever. Getting on my calculator. Okay, 0.00037 times A, which is area, 0.125 times the squared 225 times 225 in parentheses 2.069er. Thing equals equation. Yeah. See? Just follow the thing. The preferred location of an ELT is... I think it's as far forward as possible. But wait, no. Ooh, yes. As far aft as possible. Forward of the... No. Well, I think it is forward. I think it is. Oh, I'm wrong. An ELT must be installed in a location where it is least likely to be destroyed in a crash. Normally as far as possible. See, I was thinking that that was like the black box. I thought the black box was supposed to be. Maybe that's the same thing. I don't know anymore. I'll just accept it. As far aft as possible. That's correct. There's no way I'm getting 85 on this. I might be up really late. I'm going to blast through these. Okay. What kind of antenna is this? Welcome to the chat. If you just joined the stream, thanks for joining in. What kind of antenna is this? We're studying airframe. We're studying maxing. That is it's obviously a radar beacon transponder antenna. No, I was testing you. It's a VOR and localizer antenna. What characteristics of the, maybe that's all I can remember it. VOR, the V, it has a V shape, so it's VOR. But I gotta be careful because there is like a VHF antenna too that might be different. So, what characteristics of the installation of a rigid antenna on a vertical stabilizer should be evaluated? Rigid antenna on a vertical stabilizer. It's probably going to be impedance and interference. No. See, I was thinking flutter and vibration, but then I convinced myself that I wasn't. It is, though. In general, the purpose of an aircraft transponder is to... The purpose of an aircraft transponder... What's the purpose of an aircraft transponder? Continually transmit heading, speed, rate of climb, no. Monitor aircraft speed, no. Receive an interrogation signal from a ground station and automatically send a reply back. I don't think so. Monitor aircraft speed. Maybe it is A. No, it's not A. No, I think it's C. Yeah. That's like a radio. It's like when you talk to somebody or something on the radio. So, how much clearance from the seat bottom is required when installing radio equipment under a seat? I have no idea. Let's read the explanation. Well, yeah, let's read it. When installing radio equipment under... Well, I'm not going to read yet. I got to guess. Make some kind of simple connection with the question and correct answer, kind of like I did with the VOR and the V. Yeah, I do that sometimes, but sometimes I just tell myself to remember, and I pretty much remember. I don't know how it works. It just does. How much clearance from the seat bottom is required when installing radio equipment under seat? So no set minimum as long as the equipment receives adequate cooling and damage protection. That doesn't sound very real. 1 inch with the seat occupied and subject to maximum downward seat spring deflection. That sounds kind of real. Yeah, let's do that. That makes sense. Yep, right. Static dischargers help eliminate radio interference by dissipating static electricity into the atmosphere at I don't know. Probably high current levels. No, probably low. Let's see. Static. It is low. I knew it. I'm just going to remember that. Hopefully. Clearance. Yeah, you're talking about this one. I think. The seat one. There's like a, I don't know how much there's like a, what's the word for it? A delay. There's a delay within the stream and what I'm actually doing. So, refer to figure 28. What kind of antenna is this? I like these. Okay. These are like easy. Look at the picture. One for an eye. Oh, okay. Yeah. Clearance. One. Okay, that might help. Thanks. This, I think I've seen this one before. That is VHF communicate. No, it's an ELT antenna. Yeah, it's an ELT. That's like the. I can't connect it with that answer. I'll just jump ahead 2 questions. You can't see the questions. A fully integrated autopilot controls the aircraft around how many axes? Probably 3. There's only 3 axes that I can think of: longitudinal, lateral, vertical. Okay, which of the following provides manual maneuverability of the aircraft while the autopilot is engaged? Manual maneuverability of the aircraft while the autopilot is engaged. Servo amplifier. I doubt it. Directional gyro indicator. Flight controller. That makes sense. Yeah. A gasket or sealant is used between the antenna mast and the fuselage skin to prevent entry of moisture. Probably for aircraft pressurization only. I don't think so. To prevent abrasion between the antenna. No, it's moisture. Yeah. For figure 25, what kind of antenna is this? Which can you control even when autopilot is on? You? The flight controller. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What kind of antenna is this? Well, I know it's not a dipole antenna, which is one of the antennas. It's not that, so it's either B or C. Canted? Maybe. Canted is like a slant, right? So if that is it, that kind of makes sense. But Marconi, I don't know. Let's say cant. That's correct. When installing a coaxial cable, it should be U is 3 letters. I get it. When installing a coaxial cable, it should be secured firmly along its entire length at 2-foot intervals. How may the battery replacement date be verified for an emergency locator transmitter? By removing the batteries and testing them under measured load, determine if 5%. That might be right, because by observing the battery replacement date marked on the outside. I think that's it. Yeah, it's easy. It's obvious. What component of an autopilot system applies torque to the control surface of the aircraft? The servo. What kind of antenna is this? That is a it's not a VOR localizer. I really don't know. Let's say satellite weather antenna. Okay. It's a lightning detector system antenna. I didn't know those existed. Okay. What antenna is this? That, I've seen that before. Altitude encoder. Yes. With transponders. Cool. When must the radio station license be displayed in an aircraft equipped with a 2-way radio? When the aircraft is operating outside the United States. Yes. We're close to the end. Sweet. This is going to be easy after we get to the end. When an antenna is installed, it should be fastened to the primary structure at the approximate intersection of the... No. When reinforcing a doubler on each side of the aircraft skin. With a reinforcing doubler. Maybe. So that the loads and posts are transmitted to the aircraft structure. That's right. That makes sense. What will occur if an aircraft attitude is changed by its autopilot system in order to correct for an error, and the involved control surfaces are returned to streamline by the time the aircraft has reached its correct position? Overshoot and oscillation, or probably just normal operation. Let's see. A displacement follow-up in an autopilot system develops a signal proportional to the amount of error that stops the control surface movement as soon as this sufficient displacement has been reached. Is it normal? It is normal operation. I don't really want to read all that. I'm just going to remember that it's normal operation. Maybe another day I'll read it. What kind of antenna is this? I've seen this one before. That is not lightning detector. It's a satellite weather. No, it's a marker beacon receiver antenna. Welcome to the stream. If y'all just joined, I'm just studying for Airframe in the communications, light signals, and runway lighting section. What kind of antenna is this? We just did that one. Satellite, no. Marker beacon receiver antenna. There's a lot of different kinds of antennas apparently. When flags such as NAV, NAV, HDG, and GS are displayed on HSI, the indication is that function is operating. Okay, no, that's not right. Warning flags show in an HSI when the function identified by the flag is inoperative. Okay. Probably would have helped to know what HSI is. Does anybody in the chat know what HSI means? I'll look it up if you don't. Warning flags are included in the navigation system, in the navigation, the gyro, and the glide slope circuits. Okay. So, question 59, autopilot corrects the problem, so normal operation goes on. Yeah, but I thought it was saying when autopilot starts to correct it, but then you manually correct it before autopilot finishes its job, then will autopilot still like overshoot, or will it undershoot, or will it just deal with it like nothing happened, or will it just go normal? It's changed but in order to correct for an error, and the involved control surfaces are returned to the streamline by the time. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. When the flags, what is HSI? I don't know. Let me look it up. What does HSI stand for in aviation? Horizontal situation indicator. Yes. The function is inoperative is the answer. But I picked the wrong one. Okay. When bending coaxial cable. Is that the short you wore to your speech interview? Yes, it is. Yeah. I wore this to my interview. with some cargo shorts. Kind of surprised you saw it. It's dark in here. But I guess my screen is really bright. So when bending coaxial cable, the bend radius should be at least, I don't know, let's guess 15, right in the middle. Nope. Because it is essential that the center conductor of coaxial cable remain in its exact center. Coax should not be bent with a radius less than 10 times its diameter. Okay, 10 times. After an automatic direction finding antenna has been installed, the antenna must be grounded. I think. No. It's important that the loop antenna be checked for quadrantal error. So it must be calibrated. Quadrantal error is the error caused by the metal in the aircraft structure distorting the electromagnetic field of the receiving signal. Okay. Learn something new every day. Quadrantal error causes azimuth inaccuracies, which are the greatest between the 4 cardinal points with respect to the center line of the aircraft. Crazy. If you guys knew what quadrantal error was before reading that, let me know in the chat. Okay, if you knew what that was, or if you didn't, then I'm right there with you. On modern large aircraft, wait, what was the answer to that? Loop must be calibrated. On modern large aircraft, what electronic device typically monitors flight parameters and performs autopilot functions? The flight management computer. Makes sense. An emergency locator transmitter is normally activated by an internal switch or equivalent mechanism. If subject to a force of a prescribed intensity and duration, true, it must activate when the force is applied. I think in any direction. What? Is activated by an internal switch that senses impact forces primarily parallel to the longitudinal axis. Okay. Parallel to longitudinal axis. I guess that makes sense. Because parallel would be, it would be like that. Like if you run into a tree head on or something. Let's see. VHF radio signals are commonly used in ATC navigation. Nope. It's both. Of course, it's both. VR and ATC communications. Okay. Almost done. When testing a 406 megahertz emergency locator transmitter, testing inside of a metal hanger will prevent detection of that. Maybe unit sends a test signal that will not generate an emergency signal. False. Care must be taken so that the unit could send emergency signal activating search. No. Well, yes, that is true. Care must be taken. It's a very general statement, so it's safe to pick the general statement if it's all true. When must the emergency locator transmitter battery... Hold on, I gotta tell. Hey, good night. Good night. Still studying. What is this? Oh yeah. When must the emergency locator transmitter battery be replaced other than reading the replacement date? That's true. Refer to figure 33. What kind of antenna is this? It's not a marker beacon receiver antenna. It's radar beacon transponder antenna, I think. No. It's a VOR glide slope antenna. Of course. Okay, alright. We finished the first test. Let's go, guys and gals, if there are any gals out there. We just finished, let's see. We made a 60. Okay. We're going places. We made a 60. This is my first time taking this study session test. So I'm pretty confident I can make an 85 or above on this go around, on this next go around. So let's run it back. We'll put all the questions in this section in this study session, and it randomizes the questions. Okay. The hardest one that's going to be for me is the which antenna is this question. Where's the strongest signal for this antenna? Oh, I remember. It's ahead of the antenna. Ugh. It's above. Of course it's above. I got ahead of myself. What kind of antenna is this? What kind of antenna is this? That is a lightning detector system antenna. Yep. How should a coaxial cable be routed as directly as possible? When would a U.S. resident not be required to hold blah 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 when flying within the United States? Radio equipment is bonded to the aircraft in order to... That one. A DME antenna should be installed on the aircraft in a position that will facilitate cleaning, inspection, and it's not be blanked out when the aircraft is banked. That's what I picked last time, but I don't know. It's late. An emergency locator transmitter is normally activated by an internal switch or equivalent parallel to longitudinal axis. After an automatic direction finding antenna has been installed, the loop must be calibrated. When flags such as NAV, HTG, or GS are displayed on HSI, the indication is that the function is inoperative. Which of the following is a two-way text communication link between an airliner in flight and an airliner's main ground facilities? The ACARS, Aircraft Communication Address and Reporting System. Okay, which of the following is a two-way text communication? We just did that. No, I didn't hit it though. That's correct. A radar altimeter determines altitude by transmitting signal and receiving back reflected signal. The purpose of a glide slope system is to assist the pilot in making a correct angle descent to the runway. Excuse me. Sorry. I had some in my throat. Which of the antennas shown is a typical glide slope antenna? Number 2. Number 2 is a typical glide slope antenna. Okay, see, we're running through these like nothing. What kind of antenna is this? Well, that is a canted antenna. Canted, slanted. Which control element of an autopilot system is an attitude indicator? Sensing. Because it senses your attitude. When operationally checking an autopilot system on the ground, after the aircraft's main power has been switched on, the autopilot should be engaged only after the gyros come up to speed and the amplifier warms up. Further figure, what kind of antenna is this? VOR. VOR and localizer. True. 12 out of 14, 85.7. Okay. Awesome. Then I just won't miss anymore. Did you do that in your head? Did you do that equation in your head? 12 divided by 14? No, there's no way. You might could have gotten 85, but the 0.7? Yeah, you probably put that in your calculator, didn't you? I got you. The elevator channel of an autopilot. Yeah, I knew it. The elevator channel of an autopilot controls the aircraft about which axis of rotation? Lateral. Yep. The purpose of a localizer is to align the plane with the center of the runway. That's what I'm talking about. The addition of avionics and associated antenna and systems for the CG limit will affect empty weight and useful load. Installed radio equipment is protected from damage due to jolts and vibration by shock mounts. What is the main purpose of a servo in an autopilot system? To move the control surfaces as commanded. When must the radio station license be displayed? When the aircraft is outside the United States. What kind of antenna is this? That is a marker. It's either B or C. Marker beacon receiver antenna. Yes. No. It's a radar beacon. What? It's a VR glide slope antenna? Oh. Okay. Well, that's also kind of V-ish shaped. But the other one was a VOR, right? Let's go back to that one. Where's the VOR one from earlier? This is what's a typical glide slope antenna? Well, that doesn't look like the one I just answered, but it's the same kind of thing. VOR and localizer antenna. So this is also a VOR antenna. And so is this. Okay. The VOR looks like a boomerang. It does, but apparently this is also a VOR and glide slope antenna. So this is like the combo wombo. And the other one is a different combo wombo. The other one was a... What was it? VOR glide slope. Oh, we just looked at that one. I don't know. No? What? What do you mean no? Look, this is VOR glide slope antenna. Where's the one from before? And this is a VOR and localizer antenna. So both of them, 17 and 24, are both VOR antennas, but they can also do different things. So this one is VOR and glide slope, but this one, the boomerang, is VOR and localizer antenna. All right. 24? Yeah. 24 is a VOR glide slope antenna. It says right here in the explanation. One antenna can be used for the radio range and standard broadcast bands in light aircraft because the two ranges are close together. Oh, we're going to pass this. You sure about question 24? Answer? Yeah. You can pause it. Go back and pause it on the thing. When installing coaxial cable, it should be secured firmly along its entire length at 2-foot intervals. What component of an autopilot system applies torque to the control surfaces of an aircraft? Servo. What kind of antenna is this? ELT. What characteristics of the installation of a rigid antenna on a vertical stabilizer should be evaluated? I already know it. Flutter and vibration. Aircraft antenna must be grounded to the airframe. An emergency locator transmitter battery must be capable of furnishing power for signal transmission for at least 48 hours. Refer to Figure 23. What antenna is this used for? Altitude encoder with transponders. What will occur if an aircraft attitude is changed by its autopilot system? I already know the answer, but I'll read it again. System in order for it to correct for an error in the involved control circuit. No, I'm not going to read it. It's a normal operation. In an autopilot, which signal nullifies the input signal to the ailerons, the follow-up signal. Yes. How may the battery replacement date be verified on an ELT? Observe the battery replacement date marked on the outside of the transmitter. Doublers are used when antennas are installed to reinstate the structural strength of the aircraft skin. That's what a doubler does. A gasket or sealant is used between the antenna and the fuselage skin to prevent the entry of moisture. Yes, we are halfway there. When testing an emergency locator transmitter, a 50 ohm dummy load is connected in place of the antenna to prevent signal from being radiated into space. We're rocking. And you might ask, why is it important that it's prevented from the signal from being radiated into space? Because I asked the same thing. Apparently this thing might set off some sort of something in like those things that float in the atmosphere, satellites. It might go to like a satellite or something. I don't know. It seems kind of weird, right? Like, who cares if a signal goes into space? It's space. There's nothing up there. But I guess there is some stuff, like antennas. Not antennas. Well, yes, but satellites. My mic is cracking? Hold up. Check, check, check. Check, check. Okay, sorry about that. Thought that was a loud noise I saw. I heard. Okay, almost there. When testing an ELT, a 50 ohm dummy load. Yeah. When an antenna is installed, it should be fastened. So that the loads are transmitted to the aircraft structure. When the preferred location of ELT is far aft as possible, before to the empennage. What is the empennage? I forgot exactly what the empennage is. Let's see if it says it here. No, it doesn't. It's okay. In general, the purpose of an aircraft transponder is to continue mercy. Yes. In the landing configuration, GBWS typically monitors the radio, altimeter, air data computer, instrument landing system, and landing gear and flight positions. When testing a 4 to 6 MHz emergency locator transmitter, care must be taken VHF radio signals are commonly used in both VOR and ATC communications. What kind of antenna is this? That is a radar beacon transponder antenna. Part of the ADF system used on aircraft includes sense and loop antennas. When must the emergency locator transmitter battery be replaced? Other than that, when it's been used for 1 hour. Which channel of an autopilot detects the change in pitch attitude of an aircraft? The elevator. Static discharges help eliminate radio interference by dissipating static electricity to the atmosphere at low current levels. The preferred location of a VOR antenna on light aircraft is top of the cabin. It's top of the cabin. Yes, I know that's right. When installing a DME antenna, it should be in line with the center line of the airplane. How may the operation of an installed emergency locator transmitter be verified during aircraft inspection? By activating the 5G switch and tuning the unit 5 minutes after the hour. Yes. Oh. No. It's this one. It's C. By tuning a communications receiver to the civil emergency frequency. Yeah, I should have known. I didn't read it. What kind of antenna is this? That is a marker beacon receiver antenna. No, it's a radar beacon transponder antenna. Radar altimeter indicates altitude above ground level, which of the antennas is a typical DME antenna. One. Correct. What is the approximate drag? I'll do the calculation again, even though I'm pretty sure I know it. Oh, I still have it pulled up on my phone. It's 2.069. When bending coaxial cable, the bend radius should be at least 10 times the diameter of the cable. What kind of antenna is this? That is the glide slope one. On modern large aircraft, what electronic device typically monitors flight parameters and performs autopilot functions? What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for tuning in. We're studying airframe stuff. Which electronic device typically monitors flight parameters? The flight management computer. And we're almost done studying for tonight. What is the approximate drag? I think it's A, but I'm gonna do the calculation anyway. Actually, I still have it pulled up on my phone. It's 3.387. I cheated. I know. Sorry. Not sorry. A fully integrated autopilot controls the aircraft around how many axes? 3. There's only 3 axes that I know of. What component is the sensing device in an electromechanical autopilot system? The gyro. How much clearance from the seat bottom is required when installing radio equipment under seat? 1 inch with seat occupied and subject to maximum downward seat spring deflection. Figure 22. What kind of antenna is this? That is a DME or radar beacon transponder, I think. Oh, it's not. It's the glide slope one. Man. Okay, 57, weird, because I got a screenshot of the first time you answered it. And that, and the answer was 15 times. But you picked 10 times on question and said it was correct. Last time, I did pick 15 because I thought that 15 was correct, but I got it wrong. And I can go back, I think, maybe on the last test and show you, but 15 was wrong last time, and this time it was wrong too. 10 is correct. What kind of antenna is this? That's glide slope. So, what is the primary purpose of an autopilot? To relieve the pilot's control of aircraft during long periods of flight. Which of the following provides manual maneuverability of the aircraft while autopilot is engaged? The flight controller. What kind of antenna is this? That is the I don't know. I think it's the lightning detector system antenna. Oh my goodness, I really didn't think that. I really thought it was that one. The marker beaker and receiver antenna, but man, second guess myself. What is the operating principle of a sensing device used in an autopilot system? It's the relative motion between the gyro and its supporting system. What kind of antenna is this? A dipole antenna. Sweet. What do we get? 91. Alright. Now I can go to sleep. Before I started the stream, I was planning on just studying till 10, which would have been like 30 minutes of studying, but this is better. This is what we're studying in class right now anyways. Communications, like radio stuff. I should look up an image of all the different antennas. Yeah, there's probably like a graph that puts them all in categories and stuff. That'd be good to see. But my teacher's been in the hospital. No, he was in the... My teacher was in the... What is it called? ICU. And that was like Friday that he was there. So, and we don't know why he was there. So I don't know if he's okay or not anymore, or if he's gotten better from whatever it was. But so maybe he'll be in class tomorrow, maybe not. I hope he is, because our substitute is not as good of a teacher. Yeah, so, and he doesn't really know this material as well as the other one. So, yeah, it might be nice to visit him. I don't know how he feels about that, but I would. But yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. Thanks y'all for tuning into the stream, and shout out to Tony Carlisle for carrying the chat. He definitely carried. Yeah. Good night.